working? Yeah, there we go. Great. Goodness gracious. What a morning. It's been utter chaos, but that's okay. Let's see, what else do I need? You. I need you. I'm trying to figure this mess out. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I think I've spent enough time doing the meme. Unfortunately, if you haven't popped in yet, that's fine. But today is going to be a little bit different because I am going to get back to what I was doing. But in the meantime, I've got something else a little more fun, at least for me. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now that I actually have most of the materials put together for this. Wait, I am not entirely correct. I am missing one bit of material that I need, but I have it with me here. There we go. I bought this specifically so I can do what I plan on doing today. Hopefully, this will work the way I hope it is. I could have sworn I got something else, but this will definitely work. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way, because as fun as this is, it doesn't need to be here right now. It's going to go over in the corner, and it's going to stay right down there for right now. But what I do have for me today, some Loctite Extreme Glue, because that's what's going to be important. That's something I'm going to need, I'm going to use for my experiment, my project, my enjoyable little diversion from batch painting these guys, which admittedly has also been remarkably very fun because it's given me a lot of mental freedom to talk to anyone who happens to pop by. But I have other things that need to be done, other slightly more important things that need to be done. So I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly what I'm talking about in a second, once I move some of these gentlemen out of the way, so I can actually zoom back out a little bit with the camera and let you guys see exactly what I'm talking about. Let's see. Let's go ahead and pop that back out. Angle the camera a little bit differently so that we can get a better view of what I'm about to show you. So, I got the Loctite. I'm going to need to get this pin vise set up because I'm going to be doing some supports. My brain is not working today. I have horrible allergies right now. I've taken a Zyrtec and a Benadryl. It might just kill me, who knows? But hopefully I will feel better soon. Pardon me. I do have some fun things in store, though. I am very, very excited for this because it is something, a small project I have been working on for about a month now as I've been slowly putting the pieces together. And I'm getting ever so closer, and that's incredibly exciting for me. So, here's what's happening if you happen to be here. If not, that's cool, but we're going to see. We're going to enjoy. Where did my music go? Did I accidentally... Oh, I got rid of my music. Man, what a goober. Go ahead and add some of that music back in. There we go. Let me go get the bits. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that if you know the reference that is being made in that little picture down there, you're aware that something is about to happen. And I'm going to let you know right now that something is pretty glorious. I think before I get started, though, I need to do some last-minute shaves, some last-minute adjustments, because admittedly, this print came out a little rough. I was not entirely sure what I was doing, and the print's quality suffered because of it. But that's okay, because it's going to be a very easy fix. We're going to have him up and ready to go very shortly. But I am excited for this. I hope you guys are excited for this. I hope once you realize what's happening, once you put 2 and 2 together, once you notice what, or once you figure out what the meme is and what's being referenced here, you guys will thoroughly enjoy what I'm about to show you. That's the hope. That's the plan, at least. Now, like I said, this is a very rough print. I've never done one of this size before on the FDM printer. I'm quite happy with how he turned out. I do wish that I could have gotten it down a little smoother, but I did a very poor job of both implementing and removing the supports, since again, only I have a clue of what I was doing. So I'm going to go ahead, and before I show him off, I'm going to give a little bit more of a cleanup while I still have the time before I really need to show him off to the world. But this thing is my baby, and I'm really happy with how it's turning out so far. Thankfully, hopefully, wonderfully, my students at school, who this is going to be occupying the classroom with, don't know much about 3D printing, so they are going to get a very fun surprise, hopefully, by the end of the week before we go head off for winter break. My plan is to get this guy done before winter break. Especially now that, like I said, I've got all the pieces together. I think I need to reprint one piece, and unfortunately it's a large one, because it's just too big, far too big, for me to print, or for me to try and modify as is. So we're going to see. We're going to see. We're going to hope. We're going to LIVESY. Get it? And hope that I'm able to salvage this thing and turn it into something wonderful. But in the meantime, you guys are just going to have to deal with me kind of talking ominously about it as I try and clean up some last little bits on this print, which unfortunately look a bit rough. I'm gonna have a Statler and Waldorf moment where by the end of my description, I'm gonna be I start off all proud and excited about it, and by the end of it, I'm gonna be all embarrassed and be like, man, I did a terrible job. Hopefully that won't happen, because I'm way too happy with this thing to be upset with it. You know what I mean? I can't be disappointed in this. This thing's my baby. I can't be disappointed in my baby. So, I'm gonna continue kind of grinding down some rough bits, sanding it down, trying to make it look a little nicer. And the best part about it is the paint job on this is going to be remarkably easy, because I'm not actually going to be doing much to it. It was recommended that I go very, very flat with a lot of the colors to get that cartoon look. So that is exactly what I plan to do. Oh yeah, his back turned out great. So, let me blow my nose real quick. Get back to the explanation. Ugh. Okay. Wait, he's missing... No, he's not. I was about to say, he's missing a bit. That's upsetting. But no, he is definitely not missing a bit. It was just a small one. So, allow me to introduce you to the big lad, the boy, the biggest boy. That's the torso. We're going to go ahead and make him a little more recognizable with his wonderful head, because I have printed a ridiculously large Dr. Livesey that I am going to be assembling today and then painting at some point, probably also today. He should not be a difficult paint job, because once again, everything about him is relatively flat. My biggest thing is trying to make the print, which came out a little rough because of my lack of experience with the FDM printer, as smooth as possible before I get him to the stage where I am printing him or painting him, because as you guys are well aware, painting... Thank you. Appreciate it. FDM is a lot trickier. And I'm struggling a lot more with it, because apparently the filament really matters. I just accidentally got a bad batch, and I kept having failures. And it made me start questioning whether or not I knew what I was doing. And then my buddy, who has a lot more experience in filament printing than I do, suggested I try one of my old filaments to see if maybe it's just a bad batch. And lo and behold, the old stuff turned out great. So it was just a bad batch. Not every part of him turned out as good, though, because I used some really bad angles, so like his fist is a little bit of an issue. But it's going to be painted over, and it's going to be meant specifically for high schoolers who don't know anything about printing. So they're going to see it, think it looks amazing. That, and just for my own personal satisfaction of having a meme statue in my room, because there's something special about this boy that my co-teacher and one of my best friends, actually, I ended up co-working with one of my best friends, which is kind of cool, but he set this thing up. So first of all, welcome to the stream, D. Palmer. I don't believe I've ever seen you here before, and I appreciate you showing up. I was going to paint some Warhams, but then I realized that I have all the materials I need to assemble this boy. I also have really bad allergies right now, so forgive me if I cough, sneeze, sniffle, or blow my nose really quickly. But yeah, some of his bits and bobs came out really, really rough. I hope you didn't come here expecting me to paint Warhammer, because I'll get there eventually, but this is a little more important to me right now. One moment, please. Oh, okay. So, I'm going to be using some coat hanger wire as armature wire when I pin him all together. Well, once I finish putting him together, I'm probably going to go back to what I was working on, which was this large commission that you see behind my hand. That is, they're supposed to be Imperial Fist variants, Imperial Fist successor chapter called the Temple Guard. It's part of a large commission that a repeat client has requested I do. But before that, something else to show you, because this is probably the piece de resistance of this thing. Is that my buddy, the co-teacher, is a sound guy, and the sound guy knows how to make really cool things that are really stupid. So what he did for me was he put this little thing together, and he made it basically idiot-proof, because I don't work with circuitry and keyboards and circuit boards and the like very often. So I don't know if you will be able to hear this, simply because My microphone is really good at isolating vocals from like other background noise. So we got that in. I'm gonna put the switch in. I think the only thing he didn't give me that I'm gonna eventually need is a battery, like a battery connector. But honestly, right now, I don't care. We'll figure that out later, because he was the one who encouraged me to make this meme a reality. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute the music really quick so you can hear this amazing trash that has been imparted upon me by my blessed friends. Okay, so the light is on. The speaker is not quite working. But let's see if I can get this to play appropriately. We're going to mute that music really quick. And I'm going to pull this closer. Hopefully not shock myself in the process, because I barely know what I'm doing. And... is it working? Can you hear it? No, it's just doing a really good job of isolating the sound unless I talk into it. That makes me so incredibly happy that it's working. I don't know if you can hear this, but he basically made it so it has a switch, hookup, a speaker, and he has... oh, that really stinks. How can I make this work? Let's try this one more time. Oh, you can't really hear it. That sucks. Okay. So he made it play the clip of LIVESEY telling Billy Bones that rum and death should mean the same to you, and he made it so that it cycles also through the song. So this is probably going to become incredibly disruptive when I bring it to work with me, but I do not care. If it gets the kids excited about something, then I've done my job. So the original plan was that he came with a fairly thick base, and I figured that I'd be able to hollow out the base enough to put this underneath it. But then I tried to grind it out with an angle grinder, and it just melted the FDM, which I kind of expected to happen, but... you know, that doesn't mean I can't be disappointed by it happening. So what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to go ahead and hollow everything out on this guy and pin him. And then I'm going to get to work on the thing I actually came down here to do. My morning's been something of a mess. I'm doing another 3D print commission for another viewer, because he went through Atlan Forge to get some dreadnoughts, and unfortunately... they sent them to him at the wrong size. So, he tried to go through customer service, hadn't heard back from him. So I was like, you know what, I could just buy it for you and print it for you, since I have a 3D printer. And then you can just pay me back. And he thought that was a great idea. So, one moment, please. There we go. So that's what we're doing. I've got the print done. Good afternoon, Red. Yeah, Atlan Forge's stuff does look great. So Red, I had some print failures with some of the smaller bits, so I'm reprinting them. And in the meantime, I actually got some supports for something else I'm working on. So Dr. LIVESEY is going to live and is going to be printed very soon. But right now, my goal is to get him pinned together and supported and all of that good stuff, and then I'm going to get back to work on the other thing I'm supposed to be working on. So that will all happen. Oops. Oh, that just punched right through. Fantastic. That will all happen soon enough. I'm right now kind of stuck on the meme, so I'm going to do that first. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and try not to die here. Ah, there we go. I was told that I should be using armature wire, but coat hanger wire will work just as well. So I am using coat hanger wire to pin this guy together, because he is such a big lad. He's almost a foot tall, which means he's almost as big as that Stompa that I created. Is this not going to fit? Did I make the hole? I made the hole too small. Son of a gun. Okay, let's see what I can do to make this hole big. I think I just need to get a bigger... let's see, can this... We're gonna make that just a little bit bigger. See if that helps. Dry fitting this stuff would have been a good idea. Oh my goodness, no, it's still too small. Okay, in that case, I need a bigger drill. Where did... Okay, no, it's over here. I'm so excited I'm losing my stuff. We're gonna go up a slightly larger size. And see what I can do with this disaster. I'm hoping this isn't going to take me too long. I'm using some new adhesive I've never played with before. I'm using... Oh, I don't have the music on anymore, do I? I ended up watching Home Alone 2. Wow. So you had a good old time. Okay, Epidemic Sound. That can go back on. Had a good old marathon with your son. That's awesome. I told my wife that I planned on watching A Muppet Christmas Carol with her at some point this year because that was my goal I made for myself. And she kind of gave me that look of, you've never seen A Muppet Christmas Carol? And I had to be a wee bit embarrassed and tell her, yeah. But that's okay. She said, yeah, let's go ahead and watch it. The last time she watched it was over 10 years ago in college, too. So that's given us something to look forward to. Okay, so we're gonna go... This is clearly gonna be big enough. Oh good, it's just big enough. Okay, part 2 to this is going to be making a pin out of that. Dab it on there for a bit, and then let's see if I can get you to slide in there. Make a mess funny. There we go. Okay. I'm actually going to pull the camera back out so you guys can see more of what I'm doing because I think this is such a silly project that I need to have full exposure here. So, made a little dot in there so I know where to drill. Hopefully, my aim is going to be true. So we're going to go ahead and pin that. Thick boy's neck. Oh my goodness. I've actually only seen bits and bobs of National Lampoon's Christmas, and I've never sat down and watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Like, I know it's a classic with John Candy, but I've never actually seen that whole movie, or I've never actually seen that movie. My understanding, though, because like I was born just a little too late for the John Candy craze. But from what I understood about him was that his affable personality was just such a great, like, comedy bit that he was something I really should have watched when I was younger. So I only know him through Home Alone, which makes... Oh, whoa, 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 it's already going, it's already going. Okay. Okay, I didn't put any pressure on you. Why are you already doing this to me? Paper towel. There we go. Great distress. Okay, so we're gonna find the hole I just drilled. LIVESEY now has head. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do... And actually, based on how good that Loctite, or how that Loctite works, I'm probably not going to need smaller super glue. What I am gonna need is something to clean up this mess, because this stuff has decided it doesn't care about whether or not I'll go ahead and do that. I mean, I pretty much intrinsically trust the judgment of people who tell me good movies are good. Especially because we become a more discerning consumer base. Now, I don't remember which side is front on him. I think it's going to be that one, so I'm going to... Right in the middle of his head. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and drill right into the top of his skull. Hope that I get this right. Though once again, it shouldn't matter too much. Because that's a fairly rounded piece, so hopefully that doesn't cause any real problems. But yeah, for me, it's not afternoon yet. I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning just because my body has decided I'm not allowed to sleep in past about 5 o'clock. And got my morning ritual done. Then I came down here to try and get some work done on those Templars, because I should have been much closer to done by now, but I just haven't had time. And came down to check the print, saw that half the files, or half the pieces, were severely screwed up. So I just kind of sighed and went about replacing them. And then I couldn't find the thumb drive I use to transfer files to the printer. And so I've spent most of the morning just kind of fighting myself, which has been incredibly obnoxious. There we go. There's his hat. I guess I could have done without the hat, because he is not wearing it in all of his scenes. But you know what? We're going to give him the hat. Like, I didn't even notice that he wasn't wearing it in his famous walk cycle. But he's got a hole in his head now, so I guess it's got to stay? I really don't want to have to fix that again. There we go. That's the fit I'm looking for. Now he's got the drip. Okay, we're going to set him down like so, and hope that his massive back is enough to prevent any problems there. Gonna drill in his legs. We're going to go ahead and drill in his legs. Oh, goodness gracious. Put another large... Oh, I can feel that I'm hitting the support there. Hopefully, this is going to continue to be straight enough that I can use it. Okay. This project is so massive, but thankfully it's going to be an easy one, because painting him is going to be... Come on, break off! Painting him is not going to be difficult. All I've got to do is hit him with a flat primer. Oh! Well, that worked because I snapped it off, but that did not work because I lost it. So I'm going to have to print off, or snap off another one. But anyway, as I was saying, this is going to be an easy project because he's going to be painted flat colors like he is in the cartoon. But it's going to be a difficult one because putting him together is an undertaking. It's far more complex than anything I've done so far. Okay. Get some more of that goop on here. Get some more of that support. I probably should have made the support a little longer, but I think it being that small is going to play to my advantage, because at the very least it won't get caught up and misdirected by the supports that are already looming in there. Or maybe not. Maybe this is going to be a problem because it's already tilting perilously. What is it getting stuck on? Nothing, it's just the hole's a little too big. Okay, so we're gonna put you in here and hope that I can screw this in properly. I'm gonna drill a little bit closer to center because I know that it's moved a bit on me. What is the plot of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? Like, I've heard the name, and I've seen a clip of it that was used for a music video, but I've never actually seen the movie. I don't know what it's about. I feel like it's such a classic. It's probably been riffed on a million times in a million other movies and a million other comedies, because that tends to be the case with the iconic ones, right? But beyond that, I have no clue. Okay. We're going to go ahead and fill this in now with all the goopus that I can muster. Oh no. The goopus has mustered. And we're going to slap this in here and hope the support will do its job. Oh boy. He's so big that he can't stand upright, but that's okay. I'm going to be very excited to paint this thing once he's all put together. And I hope that this stuff doesn't fight me too much in terms of the adhesive expanding. I kind of wish Games Workshop would release something this big, just as like a collectible statue that you could put together and paint. But I feel like the cost of designing and making it and selling it would be far too much, and it ended up being like $500. Okay, I'm just gonna pre-drill all of this. So that's gonna be his
right hand, and I believe because of his stance, it's definitely supposed to be that way. Okay. So go ahead and drill this out. But yeah, I had a moment this morning since it's Saturday where all I could think of was the meme of Dee Dee walking in on Stu from the Rugrats being like, Stu, why are you making pudding at 3 in the morning? And Stu just deadpanning because I've lost control of my life. He's trying to get home for Christmas and then he bumps into John Candy. Oh, okay, so that's right, yeah, and John Candy's like really annoying but good-natured. And I'm assuming that, since again, this is a fairly popular trope now, that he continues to either harangue Steve Martin with his antics, or because of him, Steve Martin is never able to get to do the thing that he needs to do to get to the next stage of his journey home. Does that sound about right, or am I completely off base there? And I think I've seen the spoiler for the end of the movie that he finds out that John Candy doesn't really have anywhere to go for Christmas, so he invites him over for dinner so that he can actually spend the holidays with like a family around him. Oh my goodness, come on. It is far too early for me to be using this much flex on my hands. It's already cramping because apparently LIVESEY is too strong. That was something else. When I first found out that the 3D printer was not working and I was having all those print failures, the last big thing I printed before then was Dr. LIVESEY, so my wife joked that he was just too strong and the printer just had to work too hard to make him a reality, and so he just broke the damn thing. And as funny as that would be, I would have cried. Okay, I suppose what I should be doing first is checking to see which arm is which. That way I don't accidentally glue in the wrong parts. That seems like a smart thing to do. And I think the best part about this is that when I got the statue, it was very clearly meant to be like a 3-inch statue. And my buddy and I were like, we can do better. And so because of Super Troopers, I've seen bits of that too. That was a movie that was very popular when I was in high school, college, but I've never actually sat down and watched the entire thing, once again. I was in a weird state at that age where I was very particular about the things I would sit down and enjoy, and it caused me to miss out on a lot of really, really good comedies, a lot of really, really good stuff. Okay. I'm going to take a second to actually look at the LIVESEY statue and make sure that I'm putting the parts in the right part. In the right side of his torso. Because I would hate to put them together and then realize I got the arms backwards. You know what I mean? So if you just give me a hot second, I'm going to look at where I've got his stuff. Arm 1, arm 2, torso. Giant torso, man. Okay, so based on this, it looks like the one with the lesser crook goes in the back arm, and the one with the larger crook in the arm is what's going forward as he strides forward. Yeah, that looks about right. So this is a right arm, or this is a left arm. This is a right arm because he's going like mid-stride, like so. So I can definitely do that. No, not much. I like when I was a bit younger, my big thing was just finding movies I liked and relentlessly watching those. But as I've gotten older, I've tried to appreciate more movies, which has led to me watching more things that which has led to me watching more things that I just kind of missed over. Like, this is a much more minor example, but oh my goodness, these are not the pliers for this. I missed a lot of the Disney movies that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s. And those were things my wife grew up on, so she's really big on them. And a lot of my generation actually is, because I have a lot of friends who are like, oh my goodness, you haven't seen X. And so I've made more of an effort to sit down and watch those movies. because at the time I was like, I don't want to watch these stupid movies. And then I grew up and realized that that's a really dumb way of looking at it. So I've become a lot more receptive to trying to watch movies that people recommend. Like, I have not yet seen all of Blade Runner, which makes me feel like a bit of a goon because it's right up my alley. It's the type of stuff I like. And that's because when I was in college, I was watching the movie while I was donating plasma one day. This is a whole lot easier. Why wasn't I doing this? Good lord. And I got about an hour into the movie, and then my donation was done because I apparently have really good circulation, and I just never picked it back up. And it's not for lack of wanting to. It was a good movie from what I watched it, but... Excuse me, sorry. I'm having ridiculous allergy issues today. Like, it was a good movie. I liked what I saw. I just haven't really felt the need to pick it back up because there are a million other things I'd rather be doing. See, I've never seen Flash Gordon. I know of it. I know, like, most of what it's about. I know that Queen did, like, the theme for it, and I love Queen. I know that Brian Blessed is in it and has a famous line of him incredulously saying, "Gordon's alive?" And that because he's such a gem, he tries to fit that in whenever he can. In pretty much any appearance that he makes. I miss that era of movies where, like, you could do pulpy stuff and that would get a big enough budget to make it presentable. And we're kind of getting back to that, which I appreciate. The independent film scene and whatnot is growing because of the whole... I think... Is it going to be down like this? Yeah, that feels right. Yeah, Queen's fantastic. My dad was a big Queen fan. I had a friend when I was very young who was a big Queen fan. And so, I have one of their vinyls they re-released more recently because, I bought a couple of Daft Punk vinyls just because of the collector's aspect of them, and I like Daft Punk. And, my wife realized I don't have a record player, and that's because the record player I did have was actually a previous girlfriend's, and she took it with her when we separated or when we stopped seeing each other. And I was like, okay, that's fine, you know, fair enough. And I just never went about replacing it. But then, I think a Christmas ago, or two, my wife realized I don't have one, and I need one, so she bought me a record player. And so she also, either she or someone else bought me the part 1 of Queen's Greatest Hits album. Okay, the goop is too big and I cannot see what I'm doing. There we go. In there. Am I in there? No, I'm not. There we go. Now LIVESEY beefy arm is in there. Come on, wait, is this wrong? Am I wrong? He's not supposed to have an upswing this big. No, that's way too big an upswing. So what is going on here? I think, unfortunately, my pin misaligned. Oh, I kind of don't want to touch that again. Okay. But yeah, I love Queen. I think they did great music, and I think, like, all the kudos and accolades they get are well-deserved. Okay. I am hecking this up something awful. I think everything misaligned on me because I made the holes a little too big, so it wobbles greatly, and I very clearly am, like, rushing my way through this because I want this guy to be put together. There we go. And so I think I'm just going to have to hold it in like so, because this is the right arm. So I'm just going to hold on to that for a minute. But yeah, you can see some spots where I accidentally went a little bit too hog wild with the grinder. I probably should look up the directions of these because I might be going too quickly. And press firmly together within 5 minutes. For difficult bonds, use tape or clamp to hold pieces together. Okay, yeah. I'm definitely rushing through this. Okay. I'm gonna need to clamp that down somehow. So this is all for the most part secured and set in. The next bit, though, is going to be this arm, which is going to go back here, like so. Very cool. We Will Rock You. I know that's one of their famous songs. It's obviously one of the iconic ones. What specifically is this rendition of it, though? Is this a movie, a documentary, a concert about them? Okay, we've got all this schmeckus that I'm going to need to use, so I'm just going to take some of the semi-firm schmeckus and put it on here. I'm going to fit that little biddly bob in there. It's a play? Yeah, okay, I get you. Yes. Definitely. Okay. Okay, there we go. That's one I'm gonna have to see. See if I can get this. And then once I do this, I think I'm gonna have to set him aside and work on his hands later, because very clearly I have underestimated how powerful LIVESEY is and how much more powerful the adhesive is. Uh-oh. So this right here is a prime example of why I really want to get a one of those automated pin vise drills. Because while this is working, it's clearly causing everything to slow down a little bit as I futz around with the tool. I can't remember what it's called. A Go Stick? A Wonder Stick? There's a specific tool that I think I've talked about before that Midwinter Minis uses. That is like a high torque, low RPM drill. And that thing just seems like... Oh, that's really cool. I doubt I'll ever get that chance, being in a small podunk Roanoke, Virginia, but that's really freaking cool, and I'm glad you got to see that. Okay. Arm is in. Now I've just got to hold him in this power grip for a few minutes while he cures. Okay, I could definitely add more of that. Give me, come here. You're gonna go on here, and you're going to help him adhere. Oh no, I've made mistakes. Nope, I did not. Right in there. Yep, there we go. LIVESEY. Other than his arms, he is together. He is a massive boy. I feel like he's an action figure. Now with more ROM, apparently. Okay. After a few minutes of letting him kind of sit and cure, I mean, I would be too. That sounds like an amazing experience. So, again, that's so cool that you were able to do that. Is the play like a biopic about Queen, or is it just, does it have their music? Is it like a fictitious representation? What exactly is We Will Rock You in terms of the premise and the conceit of it? Okay, I think maybe, nope, his left shoulder joint is being titchy. So what can I do here? Oddly enough, his right one seems to have locked in place real nice. It's his left one that's giving me grief. Is it because there's some extra goof in there? No, it looks like it's good. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a bit of a goober. I'm going to put more in there to take up the space that seems to be causing me stuff. Okay. I got you. Yeah, if I ever get a chance to, that's something I'm going to see. And I was joking about Roanoke earlier. They're probably not going to end up... Brian May's probably not going to end up to come out on stage, but Roanoke does get some pretty cool concerts and the like. We've had Weird Al come through here a couple times, and I'm really sad that I missed both. We had Alice in Chains come through here. I'm really mad that I missed that one. Big fan of both of those people. But yeah, there's a lot of things like that that I kind of wish I would actually take the opportunity or take advantage of it, because, well, I did grow up in Northern Virginia where we did get a lot of that stuff. It was just way too crowded and way too dense and way too expensive to go to those kind of shows up there. And now that I lucked into living somewhere that's still metropolitan enough that we can get those types of acts and those types of shows, I really should take advantage of that. I've been to one show down here, and it was not of a super famous bit, but it was very good. And I'm really happy that I went. So I don't think that is not the right one. That is not the right one. I don't think there's anything wrong with me going to see more, and I should. Okay, I don't know if anyone is as excited about this as I am, but this boy is pretty much done. He is so large, he is so big, he is so dozer. Okay, so I'm gonna let that, oh man, that left arm, this left arm though is giving me such grief. Okay, sorry about the sniffling though. I'm gonna set him down real quick so I can blow my nose, and then I'm probably going to put him somewhere else so I can get back to working on the temple guard. Yes, he actually, oh yeah, you weren't here for that. He came with a base, and the original plan was that I was going to hollow out the base because the person who encouraged me to do this is one of my friends and coworkers. And not only have I got a base for him, but I was going to hollow out the base because he made a pretty impressive, pretty cool setup with a circuit board. And the whole idea, this feels like it's not quite oriented right for his body. Like, the other one fit in not quite perfectly. But it's a circuit board that has a speaker on it, and you can either hook it up with a plug or put a battery in it. And if you do, it has a push button, and it'll cycle between two sounds, one of which is his, original line of "Rum and death mean the same thing to you," and the other one is the funk song, "Why Not," that became, synonymous with the LIVESEY walk meme. So eventually, that's all going to go on there. But when I tried to hollow out the base so that I could fit the circuit board in there, I basically just ended up melting it. So I'm going to need to print out another base that I actively hollow out and hope that that works a whole lot better. One moment, I'll be right back. I need to find some way to strap this guy in, because his shoulder is putting up a fight, and it's definitely not good. Thankfully, I have some clothesline, and he's got a crook in the elbow that will give me just enough fight, just enough tension, that I can kind of secure his shoulder in place. Okay. Let's see what I can do here. Let's cut that off. My pocket knife, my multi-tool is old and busted, and that's okay. So let's see what I can do here. I'm gonna go ahead and feed some more in that way. There we go. Now I can try and my magic. He's got that great crook in his waist too. So if I'm really good with this, which it seems like I've already hecked it up a bit, I can wrap everything around him and tie a decent knot. Because the rest of him looks like it's holding together well enough. His arm, this specific arm, is the only one that's giving me any grief. So what I'm going to do is keep sniffling into the mic, because that's a noise everyone needs to hear. Oh, fantastic. Go ahead and deal with that. That's really cool. Okay. And we're going to go closer here, take it down. And tie this off. So hopefully there's enough tension behind it. Okay, I think that'll work for what I'm trying to do. Everything else just needs set up. Good to go for now. Sniff, sniff. Go there. I'm gonna blow my nose again. Go back to the to-do list. Go back to what I was doing. Okay. Now that can go over there. That's fine. Back to wide angle shots. Get it out of autofocus. Move my hand about right here so I can dial in the focus, because that's something I need to do now. That should be good enough. Okay. That's fantastic. Squeak, squeak. Okay. Like I said, in regards to the dreadnoughts, I'm not planning on charging you a whole lot. Maybe $30 United States, just because I feel like you've spent enough trying to get that thing to work. And it was basically at no cost to me, because I'm considering the dreadnought, it's going to be a Christmas gift for a friend, the practice one I did. And I'm actively trying to get rid of the resin. So, other than shipping, I'm not... Speaking of, his version of Bjorn the Fell-Handed finished up. That's about what it looks like. And this is what I meant by you probably want to put whatever thing he's stepping on off a little bit more off the base, because otherwise you're not left with a whole lot of room. He is a great looking model though. I kind of wish that I was better at aligning the hips. His hips looks kind of stupid because didn't do a great job, but he looks pretty cool and I'm pretty happy with him. Yours is probably going to be a much more dynamic pose since you're not going to be fighting yourself while making it, but I'm pretty jazzed with how that turned out. Now, most likely, I don't know, maybe he just took off, but D. Palmer, lovely to see him here. He came in here to watch me paint Warhammer minis, and here I am putting together Dr. Livesey. So hopefully he's still hanging around so he can get some good painting content in. I'm keeping Livesey down there because the fact that he's just marching over in the corner makes me laugh. Okay, actually, there seems to be enough moisture in my wet palette, so I'm gonna go ahead, let that absorb, blow my nose one more time. I hate having seasonal allergies, man. It's only during the winter, too. The absolute worst of it is it really messes with the skin flap in the middle of your nose. I don't know the name of it, but for me, it just completely destroys it. And so for the next week, I end up with like chipped and cracking flesh there. And it just ends up being a miserable time because I can't talk or breathe without tearing it. Yeah, that used to be me, but it seems to have gone away because I've started taking Zyrtec on like a daily basis. And that's doing just enough to keep it at bay. And as long as I'm smart and I wear a mask when I'm outside, it never manages to get into my sinus cavity to cause this kind of problem. But for some reason during the winter, if the temperature shifts too much and it goes from hot to cold or cold to hot, then I'm basically dead. And it's absolutely miserable. There was something else on one of these guys I wanted to paint or clean up. I don't remember what it was. No, it looks like I got them up there, so back to the intercessors, I guess. Gonna go in with a 0 brush because it's what I've got. Okay, take your time, man. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and clean this guy up. And hopefully my eyesight will be okay enough, because I can already feel my eyes swelling behind this hay fever issue I have going on with my allergies. Sniffle, sniffle. Get that great sniffle ASMR. Please don't ever request sniffle ASMR. And see, the best part about these units, like I've mentioned before, is that because they are just yellow on black, when I did make mistakes, like I have here clearly, they are super easy to clean up. You know, if I know what I'm doing. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm dealing with 2 issues now. I'm dealing with my sinuses, and the fact that even though I've like double dipped on sinus medication, it's very clearly not working as well as I would hope, because my nose is running like a tap and there is so much pressure behind my eyes. There we go. Good enough for government work. Oh gosh, his studs. His studs. I've got to do his studs. I am never good at doing studs. They are always such a mess. They always end up looking messy and blotchy. But that's okay. I'm going to do my best. And we're going to use a really good primer to cover up my mistakes. Now, something that does kind of help is that if you've got a good brush, you can kind of hit the top side of the stud and get it mostly correct. And then since you've already covered one half of it, just flip it over and try your best to hit the bottom side of the studs without making too much of a mess. But there are those videos of those masterful painters who have gotten really, really good at just kind of kissing the stud with the paintbrush, like I'm very feverishly trying to do, and then just getting just enough so that it looks amazing and doesn't leave any weird unclean lines, doesn't get on the actual pauldron. But unfortunately, I'm not that good, and since this is not a presentation model, this is specifically to help a guy get an army battle ready, I'm not going to worry about it too much. I also need to get poor lad's knee pad. And the only problem I'm really going to have is that for the most part I use kind of a light or a dark blue over, let me see, I'm holding right here. There we go. Over his I completely forgot where I was going. Oh yeah, over the black. And since I'm now using just a pure black, there's going to be a little bit of color difference, but I'm going to go back and dry brush everything to kind of help it breathe a bit, and hopefully that will help restore some of the depth that I'm losing by just using this pure black for cleanup. Oh, there goes my nose again. Oh, my voice, it sounds so bad. I'm sorry, guys. I'm having a great time with my sinuses, and hopefully it's not too bad via the audio. If push really comes to shove, I'm just gonna mute my damn mic. No one needs to hear this nonsense, this racket, this horrible noise. Okay, that's gonna be good enough before the shade hits it. Back to the studs. I will say that's been probably the worst aspect of this, is like every one of these soldiers has had like a minor inconvenience that has just slowed me down tremendously. Just like a little minor thing that's made me have to go back and be like, okay, now I've got to take my time. I can't speed through this like I should have been able to. But that's okay, because eventually I'm going to develop a technique on like the last model that would help me speed through all of these, and then I can carry that knowledge over to the next time I have to paint something like this. Not have to, I choose to, but you know what I mean. Okay, he's got a black Templar. Insignia right there. This one are done. I put them so close together for LIVESEY that now I'm having a hard time pulling them back apart. Oh yeah, I forgot. I gave them the red rifle too, so when I paint their bolters, they're gonna have that cool red trim and framing on their gun versus the typical like black and gray that the Imperial Fists use. So dude's gonna have a whole lot of funness and variety to his models. This is actually like his third army, I think. He had me paint some Crimson Fist stuff for him last time. And I think he really wants to go in hard on like the last protocol idea. Last wall protocol. So he's got me painting these guys as another successor chapter. Which, what is going on with this one? Why are the studs so prominent? I mean, it's admittedly going to make his army look really cool, because he's playing them all as Imperial Fists, I believe, with Imperial Fist chapter doctrines. But they do look super neat. It definitely adds a lot more variety to the cheese wave. You know what I mean? That's okay. I was hoping that I would have these guys done just shortly after Thanksgiving, because I had enough faith in myself to do so, but that faith has clearly dwindled because I have not had enough time to really work on them during the day. So, not beating myself up for it, just trying to find extra time so that I can get these guys done for the client, and he can have this all before the holidays, like the major holidays for us, the Christmas holidays. Okay, there we go. Whoops, whoa, 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 whoa! Why would you do that? Because I didn't clean my brush properly is why. Okay. Oh no, my nose is doing the thing again. Give me a second. I'm gonna finish painting the stud, and then I'm gonna blow my nose again. Okay, he's good for now. Put him back there. I'm gonna blow my nose. I'll be right back. I apologize. The worst part about it at this point is it's basically just like tear duct fluid that's seeping through my nose, and that's immensely obnoxious. Oh wait a minute, okay, no, he had on a Mark 6. So I will say one of my favorite things about this whole bit is that this guy, I don't know how much his knowledge of 40k has grown since I first met him, when he was first getting into the hobby. But, like, he has just been relentless with his kit bashing and with his easy subs. So, like, some of the arms are very clearly not Primaris arms or even the right army type. Like, I'm pretty sure he used Catachan arms for one bit. And it's led to some very diverse-looking units. Like, you can see the service studs, the bonding studs on this pauldron are a whole lot less intense. And that's because I'm pretty sure this came out of a Primaris sprue, whereas the bonds in the last one were absolutely ridiculous and huge, which made them a little easier to paint, mind you. but it did definitely have a distinct visual difference. Okay, let's go ahead. Hit these really quick. Try not to make it too obnoxious. There we go. Now let's go back and do some cleanup. Make sure that we don't have these weird other color borders because I underpainted them in a khaki, which now that I'm looking at it against the yellow, is showing up as like a really bright white. That's so strange because it's definitely a yellowish khaki. I mean, it's fine. It's not a big deal because it's going to be gone soon. But that is a very odd thing about color, is your eyes will kind of compensate for intense colors. Like my wife showed me a video of someone messing around in Photoshop or one of the other programs as they looked at a picture where it looked like someone's armor or plate or something was this brilliant deep gold, this brilliant white gold. And then they like took the eyedropper tool and they pulled it out of the painting and they put it on its own independent little canvas, and it came out as like a dark brown. And it was just like, what sorcery is this? How are you making what looks like a nearly pure white out of a dark brown? And the answer was, it was next to so many other dark colors, your eyes compensate. And it just made it look like a brilliant white instead of the dark brown that it actually was. And all I can think of is, that's witchery. Stop that. They might burn you at the stake for that. I shouldn't make that joke. Many innocent people died. Okay, so it's gonna be good enough for now. Let's go to you, my friend. I love the fact that he is just holding his hammer out like, look at what I found! Brothers, I have found a hammer! Make that nice and dark again. Oh boy, one moment please. My nose be dripping. Thankfully it seems to be isolated to one side now. Okay. What a great looking model. Oh, I got all watery. Okay, I'm not screwing with that. Make his manacle more correctly black. Get rid of all of that extra junk because of my impatience. Let's go ahead and clean up his pauldron. There we go. Apparently the FDM printer is doing some broad strokes because it is making noises. Okay. And anyone who is keen-eyed might notice that I'm not really attacking the sides. And that's partially because I'm not good enough to. And partially because that's going to end up getting covered anyway by the shade when I do that. Okay. This guy is done. The guys in the back are already done because I worked on them previously as test models and they took way too freaking long. These guys need to get... This is the wrong one. We're gonna get a bigger... bigger one of this so that I can go ahead and clean up this ridiculous mess I have made on these poor lads. Okay. I do love the Outrider model. I think it's one of the cooler ones. I really don't like that it replaced the bike, assault bikes, but I think they did a good job at least giving it some really good solid Space Marine language. So I can't be too mad at it. Okay, we're gonna make sure we hit that really good. There we go. Same thing over here. I think with previous ones that had that disc, I just made the entire disc black. Sniffle, sniffle. Angles are king, ladies and gents. If you find yourself having a problem getting the brush to fit in a certain area or hit the right coverage, change the angle. Okay. Oh, ew. Ugh. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and hit this a little better. Whoops, that's still very wet. I also think it's about time that I switch palettes because my palette is starting to get disgusting. Whoops. Way too hard on that one. I feel like that might not be the right cauldron for that. That's okay. Go ahead and clean up some of these lines. These poor lines that I did on the bike. Get the bike back to some snappiness. Whoops. Doing it that way is not going to help. Okay. I mean, admittedly, the entire thing's getting a wash, so trying to get it back to, like, perfect military lines probably ain't gonna work too well. Especially with my limited vision right now. Okay, let's go ahead underneath now. What here? I think the only thing that really drives me nuts about this is that I can clearly see where he just scraped stuff off and didn't clean it up. And to me, that just looks a little bit blah. But he wanted a paint job. He did not want to clean up. He went ahead and assembled everything himself. Okay. That looks about as good as it's going to get. These allergies are going to bother me for the rest of the week. It's going to have one bad day, and then everything's going to be Gucci except for my nose. And that's super frustrating.
Ah, goodness gracious. Okay. Honestly, the worst part about this, like I said, is that I'm double dosed on different medication. So having to deal with all this irritants is exactly what that word is. It's irritating. I might have to stop soon just because I'm losing my ability to see. It's starting to swell my eyes shut. And I mean, that's just obnoxious. Wow, I did a better job on some of this than I thought I did. Again, changing the angles. Trying to make sure that I'm only hitting the spots that need to be hit. Go ahead and gently hit the shoulder pad. A little bit of black to cover up where the khaki bone hit the vertical spots. Hit the walls. Okay, beautiful. I feel like for some of these, I'm just going to have to do a dunk wash. It's done. Time to clean you up. It looks like I already started and then just stopped. There we go. I don't know if I can hit that last. I can hit that last little bit. I just need to switch my brush up. There we go. I think the rest of that looks pretty okay. It's going to get a wash. That has been the biggest challenge, honestly, is figuring out where I can kind of, quote unquote, be lazy. Cut corners and the like. Actually, one moment. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully moving around a little bit is going to help me with my sinuses. Okay. Oh dear. That was not a good job. I forgot that on this guy I painted a very rudimentary, just like diagonal stripe going down the side of his bike. Not a very good one either, but I guess since he was just going for diagonal stripe, it's fine. What I should have done, what I could have done, is grab some painter's tape and gotten some really, really good looking stripes on there. That one turned out a little better. There we go. Oh wow, those are really disparate from each other. So what I think I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna go back, hit that one again. That's interesting. Shows you just how little I was paying attention when I made these. Yeah, this stripe is definitely at a much sharper angle than the other one. It's hitting the same spots, but it's clearly going a little bit higher. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and paint over it really quick. And then I'll go back and I'll bring it back even further with some khaki and some of that yellow again. Which hopefully will not be too difficult. Otherwise that's going to drive me nuts. It looks like I get to about here. And how far back does it go? It basically hits the same spot, so it's more a matter of me just changing the angle a little bit so that it covers more. More of that back spot. And yeah, that already looks 100 times better. And I'm actually going to go back a little bit and cover some of the spots that just... I'm going to go ahead and paint the entire thing over. I was like, I'm just going to spot clean it. But there's... That's going to get to some uneven coverage. So, using a clearly superior paint in Vallejo versus Army Painter. Sorry guys, Army Painter, your paint is fine. Vallejo is just better. I'm going to go ahead, cover this entire thing, get some really nice coverage. I think I'm going to redo this one too, for pretty much the same reason. You can see it's splotchy. It doesn't look great. Let's go ahead and make it look gooder. Once again, I get another example of Vallejo just making my life easier while Army Painter was a struggle. Because I had been using Army Painter's bone color as my go-to khaki. And even though it does create a much nicer white, it definitely has way too much transparency to it. Meanwhile, that covered beautifully. That covered pretty beautifully. Go ahead and hit that one more time. And there we go. I'll hit that over with a yellow once I finish doing some of my other cleanup. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm looking Same kind of deal. Just going to hit all of these wells with the basic black so that I can do a decent job covering it up, making it look a whole lot tighter.
Beautiful. Okay. My apologies for the less of talking. I'm just really focusing. I'm holding my mouth just right to try and get as clean a line as I can. In these very fine spots. And clearly doing okay. Not great, mind you. Just okay. Go ahead and hit all this. I don't think I did that on the other one. I'll have to go back and make sure that I hit the shoulder pads properly. There goes my nose again. There we go. Yeah, it looked pretty good. That's a baseline one. Nope, didn't hit this one. Okay, so I covered... No, I didn't even hit his shoulder pad. Good lord. No, that looks terrible. Looked like I started and just gave up. Shame on me. Okay, so we're gonna hit this. There we go. Okay. Dampen that down a little bit. Get it into the black so that the black will run a little bit. Oops. Go back and clean that up a little bit. Go. Beautiful. Again with the high hit. There. There we go. This one, it looks like I tried to get coverage on. This one looks like it actually needs more of that yellow. So I'm probably going to go back and hit that with some more yellow. Actually, after these get washed, it's not going to matter at all, because the wash is going to cover up 90% of it. Okay, the bikes are done. These guys are going to kind of get their own. Like, I'm going to go back and touch up these guys independently, because these are character models, right? These are HQs, so I want them to look really good. So I'm not going to go back really and touch them up too much until I'm done with everything else, and then I'm going to make them look really good. Well, I suppose right now, go ahead, hit Sir Chaplin on Sir Bikington. I've already got it out. Why not use it, right? Okay, same kind of thing. Just hit it really, really gently. Try not to hit it too hard.
just get rid of all of that mess I made along the trim of the bracer. See, that already looks leagues better. Still not perfect, but much better. Same with it here. Just all about trying to clean it up so that it looks acceptable. Okay, get a little bit here. A little bit there. A little bit back there. And a little bit under there to cover that white. And beautiful. Beautiful. There goes my nose again. Okay, with these guys about done with the cleanup, I'm gonna go ahead and hit that bike again with some yellow to cover up that khaki I did. And then I guess I gotta go back and find another color to hit them with. Actually, what I think I'm going to do while I'm at it, because I noticed that it was this guy. I'm about to say, I noticed that one of these Templar sword guard guys did not do a great job hitting his cloak. It's tabard. So, I'm going to go back with a strong... excuse me. With a stronger color. Excuse me again. And get much better coverage alongside this area. Because once the bone or once the wash hits it, they're all going to get shaded brown anyway. Golly. What the heck just happened? One moment, please. Something got in my nose that my body did not like. That is a considerably darker color, or a considerably richer color. We're just going to go ahead and stick it over with that. Okay. Now, yellow. Where'd you go? There you are. Yeah, this is going to cover well. Even with a little bit of water down, it's still going to cover, because that is how Vallejo works. Great coverage, great paints. There we go. Beautiful. We'll see how well that covered when it dries. Right now it looks pretty good though. You over, get a better angle. Same kind of deal. Put that a little bit to bring that back out. Okay. See if I got any purity seals I apparently missed, because I missed a ton of them. Go ahead and slap some of this khaki on the purity seals to give them some color before I hit them back down with a wash. There's one on his covering his holster.
good. He did not have one. Some skulls. Paint the skulls. Just enough to hint that they were at one point skulls. Nothing too grand. They're just skulls. We're gonna give them a quick once over. Be done with it. Almost like a skull dry brush going on here. Okay, there we go. Pardon if my hand or my brush is blocking the shot. There we go. Skull, skull. That was paint. Paint on the skull. Beautiful. Okay. One more time. One dang nose. The worst part about these allergies is that within a day, this is going to be absolutely nothing. My nose will be fine. Everything will be fine. It'll be like that never happened. But until then, it's definitely happening. And it is annoying as sin. Okay, let's go ahead and hit these guys a little more. Let's do one last once over. Make sure everyone is hit where they need to be hit. And when I'm done with that, I've got to move on to another color. I'm a little locked up on what color I should move to next. Probably actually the rifles. I think I'm going to go ahead and paint all the bolters, chain swords with that red trim. I think that'll look good. Okay. Of course it'll look good. I've already done it on a couple of the models, so I'm not really hitting new ground. But oh, hello there. You have a skull and you have a laurel. Well, I'm not going to do the laurel yet. That's going to be green. But skull, my good friend, needs to be skull colored. So we're going to go ahead and paint that skull colored. And actually, we're going to paint the laurel skull colored too, so I can remember to go back and hit it with a green. So I'm going to look at that and I'm going to be like, laurels aren't bone colored. What are you doing? And then hopefully I'll remember, oh yeah, green. There we go. Oh, these poor purity seals and their weird coloring. Look at that, more skulls. Well, actually, no, I'm going to hit those later. Clearly, the sergeant. Got a key, so we can get home on time. No purity seals. However, cleanup needed on the Black Templar bit. Clean up your tabard. Yeah, see, that looks so much better already. Okay. You. A little bit. As you're turning out okay. Oh, yeah, purity seals. Seals of purity. Let's go ahead. Nope, that's black. I don't need black. I need skulls. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. One more time, guys. I apologize. Oh, good. I seem to be running out. My body is running out of bodily fluids. Now I can't have post-nasal drip. Okay. Go ahead and get that skull. Just enough so that it reads. Everything else looking pretty good.
How about you, champ? You've got a lot of toys on you. I mean, I think you are supposed to be the sergeant, so that would make sense. I think mayhaps it would behoove me to go ahead and hit that Poxwalker head, that Plague Bearer head, with a hit of the white, so that when I put the green on top of it, that's going to be his fleshy colors, will show up okay. So I think he's going to get, at the very least, a hit of the white. Is anyone watching in the audience, do you guys have any clue what actual color a Poxwalker's or a Plague Bearer of Nurgle's blood is supposed to be? Because that will be fairly interesting to try and paint out later, I think. I'd figure it would just be red, given that he is... Well, no, he's a warp demon, so mayhaps not. And actually, since his head has a huge bone, a huge horn sticking out of it, that will also get the bone treatment. And what I'll do later with the Nurgle color is we'll just go ahead and use it on this guy, and hopefully it'll fill in properly. Okay, nothing new on him. Do you have any fun pieces of homework on you? There's one, right under your titty. Okay. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. There we go. Oh no. Swordman wanted to dance. Added a rock for him to give him a little more variety and to cover up that one spot. Looks like it did that perfectly fine. Oh, there's one. Okay, these weapons are all going to get a nice dry brush that's going to help them sell. Skull! I've got a skull to paint. Paint the skull, paint the skull. And he's going to get some cool object source lighting too, because he's very clearly... Actually, why am I doing this? This terrain is eventually going to get airbrushed over anyway. Why am I painting these skulls? Someone should have stopped me. That's okay. I'll just repaint them again. Not like they're difficult. He doesn't have any blessing paper. Do you have any blessing paper? You don't have any blessing paper. You do, however, need to be cleaned up around the shoulders. What have I been doing? Did I just decide that you don't get cleanup on your shoulder pads? Must have been because I was so busy freaking out about cleaning up these stupid, not stupid, but these Crux Terminatus. Okay. That's good. No homework. Well, that's got some mess on him. Let's go ahead and clean up some of that. Okay. Okay. Oh, gosh, Heavy Intercessor is so neat. So dozer. Okay. I'm not seeing a whole lot of homework on these guys, so I'm assuming they did all their work in school. No paper blessings. Really weird, actually. Okay, hopefully your limbs are going to stay on today. Again, no homework. I guess you didn't feel like you needed it. I am, however. No. You have to clean that off. I am, however, going to go ahead and paint part of your armor. Because, especially after watching that arming of a Space Marine video, it has come to my attention that your respirators are actually the color of your armor helmet. So in this case, Mr. Imperial Fist, well, not Mr. Imperial Fist, Mr. Temple Guard, yours is going to be yellow, because since you're a sergeant, your helmet would be yellow. At least by the canon that I am establishing. Back to you in a second after I blow my nose again, apparently. And here I thought my nose was stopping. Hopefully that gave that enough time to kind of cool off. Do what it needs to do. To be yellow. That is the weirdest thing to me. That based on the video that they put out of the arming of a Space Marine, that their respirator is a separate bit from their helmet. I guess it makes sense, but it also makes some of their helmets look really wrong when you have them on their hips. Because that just means that their helmet is a full piece and their respirator is a full piece. And so I don't get it. Did I clean you guys up? Did I give you slightly better? Or did I say I'll do that later? It looks like I cleaned them up, because I spent quite a bit of time working on each of these individual guys. Yeah, it looks like an attempt was made. Looks like an attempt was made on their faces, too. Good gravy. Working too hard. Yeah, these look like they've been cleaned up. Okay. Speaking of cleaned up, let's clean this stuff up. I'm going to switch over to a red, and then I'm going to start filling in their guns. And their chainswords if they've got them. Okay. Red. Shake it up real nice and good. Get it on the wet palette. Unless the marble's in the way. No, what is in the way is that it's blocked. Can't paint with a block tube. There we go. That gobbed out real nicely. Ah, my nose. Okay. Let's get these guys. Start in the very back. And it looks like, because I forgot about it, I'm going to need to get their gold chest plates too, but that's okay. Hey, look, a skull. Gosh darn it. That's okay. I'll paint that later. Right now, I am focused entirely on the red. Though apparently not focused on where my camera is. Uh-oh. What's going on with you? Oh, snap. Ouch. Stop. There's no more left. That's unfortunate. That's okay. Getting more soon enough. Ran out of filament in the middle of a print. In the middle of a filler print. That's okay, I suppose. That was leftover filament that I needed to use up anyway. So, the fact that I ran out isn't a huge deal. I'll just go ahead and use some of the new stuff when I get it. And that print will unfortunately just be a failure. Okay. That. Which will be fine. It's an area that no one's really going to see anyway. Actually, now it's an area that I see. I do not want there to be any horrifically egregious mistakes there. Oh, this looks pretty good. Go ahead and hit this. Actually, yeah, just go ahead and hit the entire thing. It'll be fine. There we go. Now, I feel like I should make part of his hammer red. Which, by the way, is bent for some reason. Probably because of transport. What should I make red on him? I think it's just going to be the engine block on the back. The connector with the generator. Just to provide a pop of color. Though admittedly, I'm probably going to paint the energy hammer so that it is on. Which means it's going to have a really healthy glow. If I can pull that off. And we'll see how it looks from there. Okay, now that he's done showing off his hammer, let's move on to the next guy. Next guy has what looks to be a storm bolter. Or not a storm bolter, I forget what they're called. An assault bolt rifle? I forget the names of things, but it's got the drum mag up top. And the drum receiver, I guess. Got a drum receiver at the bottom. Very odd. I don't get it. I guess it just looks cool. Okay. They're all nice and red. Hit the back part of it red. Okay, my wife is up. Can hear her going around getting herself some brekkies. Okay, now the rest of this is going to be interesting because there are some very, very small spots that I'm going to need to hit, I think. I do appreciate the increased detail in the bolt gun. I do not appreciate how much more grief it puts on me to try and paint together coherently. Thankfully, brush for that. Okay. There we go. That's going to be good enough. Doesn't have anything else red on him, it looks like. So he's going to go back over here and get me another one. I think the next thing I'm going to paint on these guys is going to be their Aquillas. Couldn't be too difficile, but we'll see. Or mayhaps it'll have to be the dark brown stalks or grips that they've got. Okay. Paint that. I'm gonna hit that. I'm gonna hit that. Very good. Very good. I don't even know if this is showing up appropriately on the telly, but I'm quite happy with how this is turning out so far. Go down here.
I do very much like the look of the drum mag on the new bolt rifles. I do not like the extended grip on the new bolt rifles. But then again, I really like the look of the bolter. Bolter was the best version. They didn't need to make it any different. They did not improve on it perfection. They just made it look weirder. I honestly think that they just made it look more like a generic sci-fi weapon by extending the barrel back out. The fact that it was so stubby was part of its charm. That's entirely a me opinion. Probably one I've said before on this channel, on this stream. Okay. Go ahead and get the iron sight, which also doesn't make a whole lot of sense size-wise, but that's okay. Space Marines. Not supposed to make sense. You, my friend. Sorry about that. Beautiful. That'll be really nice. Okay. Some of that. Some of that. Some of that. Some of that. Another time on each side. And then it'll definitely be too thin when it dries. Okay. Back there. Back there. Matter of fact, I can already see that it's too thin. So we're gonna go ahead, add some more, and another layer to really make that red pop. There we go. Let's go back actually. That definitely does help sell the model quite a bit. Throw you back on there real quick so I can hit you with some more red. There we go. 2 thin coats is what he says. 2 thin coats is working lovely. Okay. Okay, that. And again, at least for me, the biggest thing is the constantly changing the angle so the brush can hit where it needs to hit. Honestly, I haven't watched a whole lot of other tubers who stream their painting, but I feel like that's something that's not said enough. Move the model to the brush, not the brush to the model. Especially with a lovely little painting handle like this. I will admit it was especially frustrating to be able to find an STL for a painting handle for like 3 cents. Whereas I spent, like $15 on this painting handle. Okay, on to the chonkers. And see again, they got these big extended barrel bolters, which I suppose they're fine, but I don't know. I feel like they could have just gone with much smaller bolters, because I really like the look of the smaller bolters. But again, that's just me. In my terribly congested opinion. I feel like while these obviously do add a lot of heft and weight to the heavy intercessor, they don't really do a whole lot in terms of selling that they've got better firepower, I don't think. Just that they're bigger. They're gun longer.
Okay. Hey, Ghost Eggy 123. Oh no, I didn't know that about Pele. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't realize Pele was still alive. I've got some really bad sinus issues going on, Ghost Eggy, so I apologize for that. Good to see you, though. Just working on a batch painting a commission. Right now I'm on their bolt guns, so I'm just trying to hit all of them with a couple of layers. And also try not to sniffle into the mic too much. But yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't realize Pele was still alive to begin with. Football is not my favorite sport in the whole wide world. One moment, please. So I follow it very, very casually at best. Like, I know who Pele is, and I understand Pele's importance to the game. And that's really upsetting to hear that he has to start end-of-life care. But when was Pele a big name? Was it... What decade was Pele in his heyday? Because I feel like, unless I'm way off base, fair enough, I suppose. Yeah, so Pele would have probably been in his 20s, 30s then. It's been about 40 years, so he's lived a pretty long, good life. I mean, that doesn't make it any better that he's, you know, in the process of potentially being at the end of that life. I don't know where I was going with that. This all just sounds very callous. I apologize. All we can really do, I suppose, is wish him well and hope that he is as comfortable as he can be, given his age and his condition, right? I'm gonna backtrack with that ramble I was going on earlier. There's no point in being logical about someone entering end of life care. But anyway, really sad to hear. Glad to know that he's got kind of a plan set up at least. And I hope that they're able to make him incredibly comfortable. Okay. Talking back about the paint job, which feels like a very awkward transition. I gotta say, I do love the pop of a red trim on a bolter. I do not love my sinuses right now. Okay. I think that looks fantastic. I love the heavy bolter. If the bolter is my favorite gun, the heavy bolter is my second favorite gun. It's just a big, angry looking FU to anyone who wants to get within 100 feet of you, you know what I mean? Just this gigantic harness weapon that throws huge slugs downfield with extreme prejudice. Oh no, my nose. One moment. Oh goodness. I apologize for just kind of sounding like a zombie, but this is really starting to take it out of me. I actually don't know what Escape to Victory is. I'm assuming it's a film of some kind. Considering that Pele is in it. And I'm assuming it's a film that highlighted Pele in some way. Heavy Bolter, red and angry, just how they should be. Gosh, start at my nose. Ah, it's a Stallone World War II film. Okay. That is not at all what I was expecting. Honk. Okay. I know Stallone. Once again, he was a little more popular right before my time. And by the time I was old enough to really know who he was, his stock had kind of faded a little bit. And then, of course, he had a resurgence in the early 2000s because of his Rocky VI and whatnot. Which was an incredibly well-timed movie, because that was around the time I was getting into boxing. So, like, I was actively training when, like, Creed and Southpaw came out. And so those movies were like sweet manna from heaven. That helped sate my desire for learning about boxing. Michael Caine, Max von Sydow, and a load of fans football. Very cool. I know Michael Caine. Who doesn't know Michael Caine at this point? I love mispronouncing his name and saying it how he does, so it sounds like my cocaine. Of course, I feel kind of doofy that the major thing I know him from, like the first thing that I saw of him that resonated with me was the third Austin Powers movie, because that movie is such a, you know, a movie of its time. And then going on to realize he's a very prestigious actor beyond that. I remember in the documentaries them talking about how much of a windfall it was that they were able to get him to be in their movie. And then realizing, oh, this guy is a legitimate actor. He's not just a really good, like, comedy guy. He can do everything. And then, of course, he was Alfred in the new Batman movies, where he nailed it because he doesn't mess up a role. And he was in that... Hey, Hextread, good to see you. I've got some really bad sinus issues going on right now, so I probably sound very, very nasally. And I apologize for that. And if you start hearing some sniffling happening in the mic, that's because I'm instinctively doing so. But I am just kind of going along, painting up or batch painting a very fairly large... Never saw The Italian Job. Nope. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of movies that are missing from my repertoire, or from my my experience. Another one that I need to go back and see. I think the problem is the people I surround myself with tend to like bad movies, like really bad ones, and so that's where I tend to stick around. Okay, these are supposed to be a successor chapter of the Imperial Fist called the Temple Guard. One moment. Yeah. It is literally dripping and disgusting. The client that I'm doing these for had a bunch of Black Templar stuff that he traded or bought, and he really didn't want to do Black Templar because in our first business exchange he traded me a bunch of unpainted, unassembled stuff specifically for pre-painted minis because he doesn't have the time nor the comfort level to paint his own. And so I traded him a bunch of Imperial Fists that I had painted because I wanted to repaint them, or paint some new ones because I had gotten so much better since I painted them. But he loved the paint job so much that he has continued to come back and have me paint his minis. So the last time I did some Crimson Fists because he wanted a different chapter color to kind of break up the yellow in his army. And he didn't want to do Black Templars because that's clearly a different, you know, set of abilities and whatnot in the codex, in their own codex. So he wanted to do something similar with the same symbols if he could, and we found the Temple Guard. In his case, I guess so. Like, when he first asked, I don't remember exactly what he wanted, but he said Imperial Fists or someone else. And I had the fists, so he was super excited to get a whole bunch of what he thought were well-painted fists to have a starter army with a whole lot less effort. And I think since then, he's grown to like them a lot. So, me personally, yes, I'm a pretty big fists fan. I like them bunches. I'm reading through the Horus Heresy right now, and I finally just finished the Praetorian of Dorn, and I loved seeing Rogel Dorn be Rogel Dorn. And the fists finally get, you know, a spotlight, whereas previously they were just kind of there to get beat up. But yeah, so yeah, I'm just trying to get this done for him and get it back to him before the holidays. Yeah, I'd love to get more, but I first need to get some more customers. He's been, so far, the only person that I'm not already friends with to request my painting services, and that's fine. I'm really just doing this as a hobby. I'm a school teacher by trade, so I don't exactly have a whole lot of time to take on a whole lot of customers. But I do enjoy painting. I do enjoy trying new things. So, any chance I get, I'm going to have fun with it. Okay, let's get a little more. Golly, I love Eradicators. I love the Chunky Boys. I love the big freaking Melta Cannons. I love Eradicators. But yeah, he actually had me paint some, what if I traded up that much time to paint myself? Fair enough. I mean, that just seems like a job that would consume all of your time. But yeah, this is kind of where my enjoyment of the hobby really hits. Is that, I really enjoy the painting aspect. I enjoy building the armies and thinking about what goes in the armies. I enjoy a lot of the lore because, obviously, I'm like in 30 books into the Horus Heresy. Playing the game, I'm okay with. I enjoy it, but it doesn't quite scratch that same itch as building and painting. I like theory crafting. I actually ended up migrating over to one-page rules. Yeah, of course. I wish there were more people who thought like that. I know that, thankfully, professional welders and whatnot are smart enough to do that based on my experience, but I work at a high school that has a vocational, like, supplementary building, and I think they're forced to do it, but there are a lot of kids who are just kind of like, you know, I'm tough, I don't need these things. Okay. And of course they're going to suffer for it later, but that's going to be their problem, I guess. Okay. Oh my goodness. My darn nose. That's really cool. An air feed fume belt? That's freaking neato. Should have got you to just build my guard, mold lines galore on them. Yeah, I would have enjoyed scraping those clean. There's like a zen to that, you know what I mean? I would have really enjoyed putting those together. Oh my goodness, I found more homework on these guys. I found more of their little tassels. Okay. Actually, now that I think about it, I got the red out. I can go ahead and put the red on their purity seals. I don't know why I didn't think to do that. Do you have any purity seals? Did I miss anything on you? No, you don't. Okay. Did you guys have purity seals? You got skulls. You got some belts. Purity seals? Nothing. How the heck do a bunch of Templars not have any purity seals on them? Also, I gotta say, I like what I did with that. That looks neat. And I love the fact that this guy's carrying so many things. It's like, when are you gonna find time to fight, my guy? Okay. Purity seals. He has purity seals on him. Yes. Can repaint some of the purity seals. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It's basically just the Black Templars with a little more yellow, you know what I mean? And I think, yeah, that looks pretty fantastic. Actually, you know what? I should have a reference sheet up. Let's see. Reference shots. Bam. LIVESEY, you can go over here. I 3D printed a giant Dr. LIVESEY statue, and right now I think he's curing, or like the adhesive that I pinned him together with is curing, so he's sitting on another table. No purity seals for you. No purity seals for you. Yeah, the client had a lot of fun putting this stuff together. It's not all technically lore accurate or anything. I mean, like, this is clearly an initiate. I'm pretty sure he has a Space Wolf head. And he's using... I have no idea what that backpack is to. I honestly don't. I think it's... No clue. Heavy bolter, maybe? No clue. But anyway, he like scraped some other stuff off of this. Maybe... Oh, maybe this was for a Hellblaster. But, he went ahead and just went ham with everything. And good for him. Because, you know, even though there are rules to the game and how you're supposed to play it, creating your equipment can be as fun as you want it to be, as far as I'm concerned. I do say, though, I will say, I would enjoy painting another different color scheme. Yep, exactly. They are his own. I've never heard of this chapter before. I'm excited that he's going to be the only person I know with the chapter. And I'm excited for him to show this off to his friends at his game store. Because he started playing with my army, you know what I mean? How did I miss this guy's shoulders? And so, before then, he hadn't played any Warhammer before. And now he's playing in a Crusade, which I think is freaking awesome. I'd love to join a Crusade. Get some games in that way. Slowly build my army. But, I'm always worried about, I don't want to call him an uptight rules lawyer. Oh, cool. I'll check that out in a second. Someone a little while ago mentioned I probably should just start a Discord at this point. And my thought was, like, I'm not really getting a whole lot of traffic because I'm not advertising this much, but I do feel like it's getting to that point where I might need to just go ahead and start a Discord channel. Because I'm getting enough people who want to show me their stuff and I want to see their stuff that it might be the most efficient way to show it off. But I'm very new to Discord. I'm an old man. Not really. I'm in my 30s, but Discord was not something I ever used. So I'm really behind the curve on Discord. The only reason I started using it recently is I have friends who are out of the state, so that's how we communicate and play games. How did I miss these? I missed so much cleanup on these guys. I must have been in real zombie mode when I was working on them. Why am I not putting them on a handle? Yeah, I've got some guard that I started working on, and I zenithal primed them, and I decided to try and paint... Moment, please. I decided to try and paint the Commissar, and every time I would touch him, the zenithal prime would just melt right off, and then muddy up what I was doing, and then I had to do more layers and all that rigmarole. And it turns out that I had used the wrong thing. I tried to use an acrylic ink, because I had heard that acrylic ink goes on really well with an airbrush. And it turns out I used watercolor ink. So I've basically got to re-zenithal prime everything. And I've just been too lazy to do it because other projects have caught my eye. But I have a small squad of like 20 Cadian guardsmen, a couple of heavy weapons teams, a Lehman Russ that I'm going to need to completely reprime. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm curious about this now. Going to the Gmail. Going over to my other account. What do we got? Ooh, look at all them guard. Oh my goodness, you've got a Creed. Oh, that is super neat. Getting those camo paint jobs must have been really fun. I really like Creed. He's such a cool model. Oh, and you've got a... Excuse me. You've got a Yarick. May he rest in peace. Yep. There's that Commissar. Heck yeah, those are awesome looking. That's only two... I mean, that's weird to say that it's only 2,000 points, but that's only 2,000 points? Holy mackerel. Like I said, ever since I picked up one-page rules, they've basically doubled the point cost of everything. So to play truly big games, you don't need anywhere near as many models. And I think for example, at 2,000 points in one-page rules, I'm pretty sure my army is like a squad of heavy intercessors, a squad of eradicators, 2 Primaris captains, and like a Redemptor Dreadnought. And maybe 1 more squad of intercessors. My nose is failing me. I'm sorry, guys. 1 moment. I'll be back. Ugh. I think it's about time, now that I'm looking at it. I'm going to need to replace my my FEP on my 3D printer. I think that's what's starting to cause some of the problems. No homework on you. No homework on you. You got a knife, but no homework. No homework on you. If I remember right, you had some homework. No, you didn't. You have an Auspex. You do have some homework. You got it on your boobie. I don't know. What's everyone else play? I know that, Mr. Ed, you play guard, and you are currently making a neat Space Bear army that's going to be Norse-themed, and I think that's the coolest thing in the world. And I'm curious, anyone else in chat? What armies you playing? What forces are you fielding to conquer the universe? You have anything? You got some cool stuff on you, but you don't have any homework on you. Word Bearers versus Grey Knights. That's a combination. That's a really cool one. When do you think they're going to bring back Lorgar? His books in the Heresy did a whole lot to humanize him and make him much more of a sympathetic character. Do you have any homework? You do have homework. It's right on your shoulder. When I started playing a little bit of Chaos Gate Demon Hunters, that made me really want to go in on Grey Knights. That's become something of a problem. I find out about a faction, I get to see them work a little bit, and then I go, man, I need these. I need me a lot of these. I need me all of these. I need to make an army. But I can't keep doing that because money is definitely issues. 60 soldiers, 3 Lehman Russes, 6 mortars, 6 sentinels, 3 chimeras, a Bane Blade, 3 commissars, Creed, Kel, and Yarick. Yeah, Argeltal. That poor guy. Is it Argeltal or Argeltal? The Tau. I started with an army of Tau, and I didn't like their playstyle, so I kind of gave up on them. So I've got a bunch of Tau that are painted, sadly enough, Imperial Fist colors, because my plan was to make all of my secondary armies Imperial Fist colors, and just give them all names inspired by the fists in some way, like the Tau became the Rogal Sept. But then again, I realized I didn't like playing them, so I stopped. And now I need to offload them. I have a mighty need to sell them. They're not based, they're not as well painted as these guys. Like, they're not terrible by any means, but there's definitely a severe gap in experience and skill between how I'm painting these guys versus how I painted the Tau. I'd be a mad lad and paint them all non-metallic metal and then cry. I mean, it's kind of what I'm doing with the Custodes and Sisters of Silence that I have. I'm not regretting it at all, because I didn't buy them to have an army of them. I bought them specifically to practice, hard pass. Understandable. I bought them specifically so I could practice non-metallic metal and those skills. So I don't plan on using them as an army anytime soon, but once I finish them, they're going to be either really pretty or like really splotchy. Who knows? Well, I knows because I'm the one printing them or painting them, but it's all in the name of getting better at this. Because I really would like to be able to charge a good price for doing a character. Right now, my rates are pretty fair, I think. I charge half the box. Plan to use bright metallic silver and dry brush and even brighter, then blue glaze and dry brush again. Very cool. That sounds like it's going to look really good. That blue glaze is going to help sell it nicely. But yeah, right now I feel like my prices are pretty fair. I charge, you know, if you want me to assemble and paint them, it's the cost of the box. If you want me to just paint them, then it's half the cost of the box. So characters, I feel like, are very inexpensive to get painted by me, and I'd love to be able to justify charging a whole lot more, considering how much time I already put in them. Yeah, that is nice and simple. You get them painted up real quick, and you can actually play with them. Oh yeah, you need red. I've kind of found the two armies that I'm most in love with right now. I play the Fists and I play the Death Guard. And I've got pretty much all the units I need. So my job now is to go back and repaint them to a higher standard. But now I'm just kind of buying models because I like how they look. Or because they're going to help me in some way. I did kind of make a mistake, and I impulse bought a, whatchamacallit. Sorry, my brain just died. I impulse bought a Dominion box worth of Stormcast Eternals, even though I have no intention of playing Stormcast Eternals. I just like their models. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that box. I kind of just want to resell it. Because I realized, wait a minute, this is a huge waste of time for me. By the time I get around to painting these guys, or being in a position where I can, I'm going to have no interest in doing so. So I think, unfortunately, the Stormcasts are going to go on the chopping block alongside the Tau. Because I'd rather put that money towards something I really want to buy, I really want to paint. I could do that. I seriously considered converting them into Custodes. Making the leader with the wings, making her into a Celestine. Because I do have a small Sisters of Battle army that I could beef up. Especially since One Page Rules is releasing Battle Sisters as part of their Patreon this month. And I think One Page Rules sculpts are fantastic. So having kind of an off-brand Celestine to go with the off-brand Sisters, it's like, that's okay. I could do that. But I have enough Space Marines as is, and I really don't have a whole lot of interest in painting another chapter of Space Marines. So what I'm considering, an old resin Castellan Crow, I bet. Especially since they discontinued a lot of those. He'll probably be print to order soon enough. And I mean, that model is the specific one you're looking for, so a 3D printer's probably not much help. Okay, but I was going to say, if by any chance you find an STL, I'll gladly print them for you if I have the resin. I am looking for excuses to use that 3D printer.
I mean, like right now, I'm finishing printing some bits for some dreadnoughts for red, so that I can finally get that shipped off to them. I feel bad that it's taken so long. It should have only taken a few days. But it doesn't seem like you're in too much of a rush. Okay. Recasts are the other option, but they leave mixed feelings. Understandable. Especially with, like, the shifty quality issues. Okay. Oh, no, he got skull on sword, so we need to make skull on sword per bone colored as well. And skull on arm. I've gotten away from my original intent of just painting homework, and now I'm painting everything. This is probably not a good use of my time. Well, actually, it's stuff getting painted. It doesn't matter too much. Okay. They're starting to come together just a little bit. The blocking is working. Actually, whoa, I just realized he's got a big-ass power sword. Okay, I can do it on him, too. So zeroed in I've been on like trying to get the paint jobs done and compartmentalized. I did not notice the sergeant had a huge ass sword. That caught me off guard just now looking at him. Okay. But yeah, I didn't even notice his power sword was different than everyone else's. I don't think it's gonna fit inside that holster. Holster, my goodness. The sheath. The scabbard. I need to look up the difference between those two things. Okay. Oh yeah, he's even using a different, he doesn't have his regular bracer. Man, he did come up with some really cool conversions for this thing. Mad kudos to him. That guy's good. This guy's good. I don't see any more homework on him that needs to be done. On to the aggressors. Once I finish these... You got any homework? Not really. You got any homework? You got a cool checkerboard on your knee that I didn't do too good a job on. You got any homework? You got some bones. I can paint the bones. I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched, oh my goodness, Dana Howell's videos, but she's more of a Dungeons & Dragons player and an Age of Sigmar player. So the few times that she does paint Space Marines, she never acts like she understands what they are and what their stuff is. So she refers to their purity seals as homework. And I think that's the funniest thing because it's you know, based on the name, a fairly clearly important relic for them. So for her to just be like, yeah, I put their homework on them. I painted their homework this color. It just gets me. Okay. Some of that rope color in there. I mean, that's probably supposed to be gold gilded, but I do not care. Okay, that's a scroll. So I probably should paint that in this same color because it's going to be some kind of parchment. There we go. That will sell. What do you got dangling here? You got another scroll. Got another one of these. Oh my goodness, it's 10, almost 10:15. There. I guess the best news is that since these are basically black paint or black based, I'm not going to worry too much if I go ahead and use a brown wash on these guys. Because it's going to look fine regardless. Oh my goodness! I didn't realize he doesn't even have... Oof, oof, oof. He didn't connect the tube properly into here. He must have had a real good time putting these together. There's all sorts of things going on with them. I'm going to blow my nose again because I'm tired of stiffly getting the bike.
One more time. Sheath is made of leather, scale is wooden leather. Okay, fair enough. Thank you. I did not know that. But now I have learned. So, like, most likely knives would use sheaths, whereas scabbards would be for things like swords, I'm assuming. And that does make sense. Just because of the extra size of the sword. Which actually kind of makes it even funnier when characters are like, unsheath your blade, and then they pull out a long rapier, or a long saber. Like, I'm not fighting you with a knife when you got that thing. Of course, I could just be, like, needlessly involving semantics. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. I suppose that does make sense. When I was doing some HEMA with some friends in college, one of them was the quote-unquote sword master, in that he had learned when he was stationed in Germany, but he didn't have a whole lot of money. And so he was using an old Hanwei sword that he had purchased over a decade ago. And so as a thank you for him teaching us, me and a couple of friends pulled together some money and we got him one of Hanwei's more advanced swords, which was also considerably longer. And it came in a sheath as opposed to a scabbard. And so it was really weird watching this considerably longer compartment for holding sword flop around when he would pull the sword from it. I think these will work okay for what they are. Okay. Excuse me. Gosh darn it. Yeah. After I finish this last guy, I'm gonna go ahead and call it quits for today because the combination of my nose running, the sniffling into the mic, which for me is a personal annoyance, and the fact that my eyes are starting to swell shut. And I kind of want to hang out with my wife. Means I need to stop doing this. She's finally up and moving. She's had breakfast. I'm pretty sure she's ready to hang out. So I'm going to finish this guy. And then start packing it up. Oh, goodness. And then my ears just popped. Okay. Go ahead and paint those bones a bony color. Is there anything else on him? I am shocked at the lack of purity seals on these guys. It doesn't feel like a Space Marine unless it's completely, like, covered in paper. I know it's an extra bit you have to add. I just think it's silly that they're not on here. Unfortunately, I don't have enough of those bits. Okay. I think the next thing... Does he have any purity seals before I head off? No. No purity seals on you. He's got one. I've got some red I want to use. I don't want to just throw away the red. He's got some red. He's got some red. Sniffle, sniffle, once again. And he's got some bone on his hand. Okay. There we go. There we go. Good enough for now. Oh, goodness. Ugh. Sorry for the low energy session today, guys, but this is really sucking the soul out of me. Appreciate you hanging out with me, though, while I did this. I'm gonna go check on Dr. LIVESEY real quick. I'll bring him back over for those who haven't seen him yet. But generally, I paint, Warhammer minis, especially with what I'm doing right now. But as part of a project, I think I might have mentioned this already, as part of a project for personal enjoyment, and also to bring some more fun to the classroom that I work at, I found a Dr. LIVESEY STL, and I blew it up to almost 10, or like almost a foot tall, and I printed him. And my co-teacher and friend printed or created a circuit board that plays a couple of sound bites when you press a button. One of which is his statement of, rum and death should mean the same to you. And the other is the Funk Walk song that they gave him in the meme. So I finally got him kind of sanded down to an acceptable level, and I've pinned most of his limbs today, and so I left them over on another table to cure and kind of harden up. And I guess I'm going to check right now to see how they look. I think, Red, you were here when I started doing that, but I don't think anyone else in the room was. So I'm going to go ahead and see what kind of disaster I have wrought. So first, we're going to close out the reference shot, and then I'm going to pull back the camera, which should snap everything back kind of into focus. Then I'm going to put my own glasses on. And now we're going to check on Dr. LIVESEY, because he's so big. I cannot get over how large this man is. Okay, pull that. Yeah, over a couple of hours, everything seems to have solidified up real nicely. Oh, his neck is still a little loose, but that's okay. So this is the boy. We're going to go ahead and turn that light off. The light corrected for itself. Okay. Yeah, see, the light is correcting for itself. I can't do much about that. This is the boy. This is the big boy. This is the biggest boy. I now am having ideas of printing another one and making him into a Titan. I feel like I need to do this, and one of you needs to dissuade me, or else I'm going to do this. I'm going to print a large Dr. LIVESEY, and I'm going to make him into a Titan. He already has a base. I just need to match up the size of the base. Oh, there he goes. To him. And it'll work. He is such a large lad. I could even give him a gun. Where'd his hands go? I think since I'm already here and I'm in a position to do this, I'm going to go ahead and drill out his hand holes. That's way too big. I'm going to go ahead and drill out his hand holes, and I'm going to glue those in so I can say that I'm done with this part, and then I can get to airbrushing him. Okay, I need a little bit of gray paint. Well, actually, in this case, since it's all black on black, I can use white now. A little bit. Whoa, that's way too much. Take that back off. Gotta put that on this. That's good. That's fine. I have a feeling I'm far more excited about this than anyone in the stream, but that's okay. You don't need to be excited. You just need to witness him.
because clearly this is a lad worth being witnessed. Tighten that in. Get the drill going. I think I might have put too much infill in Mr. Livesey. In Dr. Livesey, pardon me. This man is deserving of our respect. As I drill out an arm socket. Okay. Let's get arm number 2 and hope I'm good enough to not damage any of the lads behind him. Break through. Break on through to the other side. You could. Oh my goodness. He is such a strong lad. He is actually preventing the pin vise from doing its job. Come on, you can do it. Get in there. I think that's going to be deep enough for his ridiculous hands. Okay. Excuse me, I apologize. I wish I had more energy for this. I'm far more excited than my voice is leading you to believe. I am very excited for Dr. Livesey to live, because I showed the first person who was here, they're probably gone by now, but I showed them there is a circuit board that definitely plays the music, and so it's a fun little project, and it makes me exceedingly happy that it exists. Okay, let's do a dry fit first, because I've already screwed this up once. So, that's going to go in there, hopefully. Is that going to go in there? Did I mess up on the... I hope I did not mess up on the spot of his... I did not. Well, I guess I did, because I just pushed it back. That's okay. This doesn't need to be perfectly pinned. That thing is perfectly pinned. So we're going to go ahead and start with you. We're going to expend a lot of your goopus in here to make sure that he has plenty of goopus for his hand. We're going to jam hand in there. Push hand in, and it's already tacky. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Giant monster hands. That's going to go in like that. Close this back up. And hopefully everything sticks and everything will be good. In the meantime, we're just going to have to hold his hand in, or his arm in. So. And there is the lad. There is Dr. Livesey. This makes me so incredibly happy. He is such a ridiculous character. Wow. The good news is, wow. Good news is it's already tacky enough that it's kind of sticking together. So, nope, his head seems to want to be nested in there. I must have gotten it pretty good then. Oh no, hand fell off. I guess I am going to have to just hold on to him for a bit. Actually, no, I've got rope for this. I specifically have rope for this. So we're going to take some of that rope and we're going to cross tie it around his hand to make sure that his hand is secure, because he's got this great cuff for me to work off of. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. Unfortunately, because of the angle, you guys aren't going to be able to see it. I don't know if you really want to, but it is not going to be visible to the masses, to the viewers, to the audience. Okay, now I'm going to tie that in place, hold that there, and this one is going to come around. We're going to do a couple of intricate loops to make sure that this stuff does not fall off. Because I want his hand to be secure, gosh darn it. hopefully someone will get joy out of the silliness that is this project. But no, I want to actually that'd be fine. No, I don't want to do it that way. Okay, LIVESEY, I'm gonna need to hold you in my lap for a second. Hope your other hand doesn't fall out, even though it's much better secured in. We're gonna grab this side. I feel like I'm trying to tie Gulliver down. There we go. LIVESEY's hand is now secured, so it will have plenty of time to cure. This makes me exceedingly happy. There we go. Tighten everything in. Tighten everything in there. Yeah, he's about as good as he's gonna get, so I'm just gonna sit him down. I'm gonna sit him down in this tray. He doesn't need to move anywhere. He barely fits in that tray. That's hilarious. Okay, guys, well, thanks again for joining me. I've been streaming for almost 3 hours. But I need to get going. I've got other things I need to do, or should be doing. So thank you again for joining me, guys. I appreciate you suffering through my my sniffles. Hopefully I'll feel better next time. But have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.